So we got some news. Jimmy Garoppolo had surgery on the ankle that we thought didn't need surgery during the regular season. Late in the season last year, Jimmy Garoppolo went down with an ankle injury, broke his foot, supposedly, and he was out for the rest of the season. He could have made it to the Super Bowl, potentially, if they made it to the Super Bowl. But instead, nope, the 49ers got off of him. He was still dealing with the foot injury. He was told it didn't need surgery. Now he signs with the Raiders. He failed a physical, which is big, and now he's going to have surgery on the ankle. Otherwise, the Raiders can actually release him without any penalty, and Garoppolo won't make a dime. So I want to know, who do you think will be the Raiders quarterback in 2023?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Garoppolo passes a physical?
I think so. I mean, he has until July or August. And they signed him knowing that his foot was a problem. He didn't pass a physical when they signed him.
Correct.
So he's gambling on the fact that he thinks his foot will recover in time for him to be playing. And I think probably the doctors told him, oh, yeah, this is going to heal. It's not going to be a big issue. So I think that's why he went ahead and signed the deal with the Raiders, knowing that high probability that he'll be able to play.
Well, this is the little timeline of how Jimmy Garoppolo's season or off-season started. In March 13th of this year, Garoppolo signed his 3-year, $72.75 million contract, and then he has foot surgery after signing the contract, and now reports are the surgery could sideline him until the beginning of training camp, which is big, because if he does not get healthy and pass a physical by basically the end of training camp or during training camp, the Raiders are going to release him and could be stuck with Brian Hoyer, Aiden O'Connell, or Chase Garbers as their quarterback. However, I just want to throw this little tidbit out here. There is one number between 0 and 19 that has yet been taken by the Raiders. Can you guess what that number is?
One number? I'm not sure.
One jersey number between 0 and 19 that has not been taken.
Number 12.
That is correct. Number 12, and it just so happens that Tom Brady has become a minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders.
It's not done yet, is it? I don't think it's done yet.
It's basically...
It's close.
It's very, very close to being
Actually, if he wants to step in there and be their quarterback, being a minority owner could complicate that. That could be a problem.
He could do a Jordan thing.
He has to have a unanimous vote of all the other owners, which he'd probably get, right? And I think there was one other thing in there that could be an issue for him. So he may... I don't know what he's going to do there. I think he'll probably go ahead and do the ownership thing and wait and see what happens. They'll find a way for him to play if he wants to, and Garoppolo's not there.
Josh McDaniels is trying to do a reunion of all Patriots. They brought Brian Hoyer. They got Jimmy G. They got Jacoby Myers. They got Jakob Johnson, their fullback, who used to be on the Patriots. So I don't know, but Jeremy Fowler, ESPN, gave an update on Jimmy G's situation on
Don't they have Brandon Bolden too? I think he's with them.
And Philip Dorsett as well.
Yeah.
So this is what Jeremy Fowler had to say. Quote, I talked to somebody within with the organization who said the exception is that he'll be there for training camp. There's nothing firm and fast right now in his schedule of that, but there's a pretty good feeling he should be able to get a full workload this year. Now he's going to have to pass a physical down the road. His money is guaranteed for this year, $22.5 million. That's in place unless something falls apart here with the foot and he can't play. Jimmy G is notorious for injuries. That has been really the one major knock. You could tell about playoff record and all that, but his one major knock is staying healthy. He has not been able to do that.
Yeah.
And yet he still gets jobs. And hell, he signed a 3-year, $75 million contract.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, knowing Jimmy G, there's a very good chance he won't be on the Raiders at the start of the season. I expect him to. I hope he does. But the realistic outlook of this is Jimmy G may not be on the Raiders next year. And they would have to be stuck with probably Brian Hoyer as their starting quarterback, who hasn't started. I'll look it up right here, but it has to be. I mean, he started one game for the Patriots, all for about 5 minutes before being concussed. But the last time Brian Hoyer started a game, like legitimately, was back in like a season, I guess. It was back in 2017 for the San Francisco 49ers. He went 0-6, 58% completion percentage, 1,200 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 picks. I don't think you want to put Brian Hoyer as your starting quarterback, especially with talent like Josh Johnson, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow. Austin Hooper's a decent tight end. Jacoby Myers, Philip Dorsett.
They could pick up Carson Wentz. He's out there.
Could also go Cam Newton as well if you want to pick him up.
Yeah.
But right now,
I don't think Josh McDaniels will want Cam Newton.
He had him on the team before. That's another Patriot he could bring in as well.
Yeah.
So maybe he wants to do a full Patriots reunion and put in another former Patriots quarterback in there.
I think I'm sure they looked hard at Jimmy G's ankle injury and talked to the doctors before they signed him to a $72 million deal when he couldn't pass the physical.
They did have to reconstruct his contract when that happened.
It's news, It's the media. They're bringing this up now. I mean, it's not.
But we're part of
like
that, so take a shot at us.
I know. That's why we're talking about it, right? But it's not really new news. I don't think because everything was
Jimmy G being hurt.
No, the fact that he signed a contract when he was hurt and didn't pass the physical then. They're waiting for him to recover, and so far it's been maybe it's a little slower than they expected, but still got quite a ways to go. I mean,
it's about 100 days. About 100 days.
Not even June yet. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this. I think the major shock is that he was told he didn't need surgery, and that's why he probably would have been available for the Super Bowl if the 49ers wanted to use him for the Super Bowl. And he even said he wished he can grab a helmet and play in the NFC Championship game when Brock Purdy got hurt. Now, all of a sudden, he needs surgery? I think that's the major shock here, is that he was told he didn't need surgery, and now he failed a physical and now will require surgery in order to actually start up a 3-year, $72.75 million contract.
I'm sure he's hoping that surgery is successful. That's a lot of money.
It is.
It's a lot of money.
He got it in March.
If he plays one game without hurting his foot, then he is guaranteed $22.5 million.
Which is interesting, because will he be healthy enough to play a game, to play a snap? Jimmy G is notorious for not being healthy. And this is just another, example of Jimmy G, sort of being underwhelming and disappointing. Now, I hope he could play. I like Jimmy G. I've been a very recent supporter for about a year. Ever since
you've been hot and cold on Jimmy G over the years.
Recently, for the past year or so,
you couldn't say enough bad things about him quite a while ago, and then you kind of changed your colors on him.
I did.
What made you change? I don't understand it.
Well, I think I turned. No, he screwed me over in the Super Bowl. I picked the 49ers to win the Chiefs Super Bowl, and that throw to Emmanuel Sanders left a sour taste in my mouth. They were up by 10, they lose by 11. I got a problem with that. They're up by 10 with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they lose by 11. I got a problem with that. And then I started appreciating what he was. He wasn't some flashy player. Instead, he was an efficient player that worked very well in Kyle Shanahan's offense.
A gutsy player, too.
Kind of.
I think so. Look at that win up in Green Bay.
Well, I was going to say that. Green Bay, I picked. I had a $50 bet on the 49ers to beat Green Bay.
Enemy territory, and he managed to win that game. He played.
He started off very poor in that game. He started 0-7.
Yeah, well, the other quarterback didn't play very well either.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true, and that's what I was hoping on. The Aaron Rodgers playoff record remains intact. And it still has, and it still does, which I will say that Jets fans shouldn't be as excited as they probably are with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. Yeah, you'll probably make the playoffs. In the playoffs, expect a win? Maybe. And that's maybe pushing it. But if I had to take a guess on who I think the Raiders starter will be, my money would be on Jimmy G to be healthy enough to play. But it wouldn't shock me if it was Brian Hoyer or Cam Newton.
I don't think it'll be Brian Hoyer. If Jimmy G can't play, they'll find another alternative.
You think they're going to?
I don't think Brian Hoyer. He got into one game with the Patriots last year, and I think the third play he got a concussion. Yeah. He was out.
Yeah, put in Bailey, and then the Bailey Zappi saga started.
Yeah,
and the Patriots fans haven't looked back with Bailey Zappi, but. It's going to be interesting to see just who the quarterback of the Raiders will be. I think we both think it should be Jimmy G, but for me at least, it wouldn't surprise me even if it was Brian Hoyer or Carson Wentz. Hell, it really wouldn't surprise. It may surprise me if Tom Brady comes out of retirement and plays, but I think.
Well, how about?
I think we may hear rumors percolating about Josh McDaniels maybe asking Brady about coming out of retirement and playing for them if Jimmy G can't go. But that's
how about Matt Ryan? He's out there. He's available.
It's weird. He didn't announce his retirement. However, he joined, I think, CBS's analyst
but
crew.
he hasn't announced his retirement.
He said it isn't a retirement. It's just a side thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, he's maybe like to play if he could get a job.
After last year, he looked like he was putting all his energy into 3-yard passes.
I'm sure he'd like to try to redeem himself.
Will he get the chance, though? I mean,
that
have
would
no idea.
be a lot better with the Raiders than the Colts in terms of the receiving core and the pieces in the offense, right?
Yeah, no, I can agree with that, yeah. No, they have a deeper wide receiver core. I think at least last year they had a better running back. Their offensive line, the Raiders' offensive line's in shambles, and last year the Colts' offensive line was like a Jenga set. Pull the piece out here, put it here. Take another piece out, put it there. It was a complete mess. So they should have been much better than they were. Matt Ryan's supposed to be an upgrade over Carson Wentz. Jim Irsay hated Carson Wentz for that choke job against the Jaguars that kicked him out of playoff contention. He actually didn't do that bad of a job. I think he had like 27 touchdowns, 4 picks or something. That's a very good stat line to have for Carson Wentz.
Well, he'll be playing somewhere, but as a backup player.
No, I wouldn't be too sure about that.
I mean, people get hurt. The NFL, right?
Hell, Sam Darnold got a backup job. If Carson Wentz doesn't get a backup job, I mean, think about that. The 49ers rather go with Sam Darnold than go Carson Wentz or Cam
maybe
Newton.
Sam Darnold will be available.
I don't know about that.
Depending on Purdy.
He's pushing for QB1 if Purdy can't go.
Yeah, well.
Over Trey Lance.
You know what? If Purdy is healthy and performs okay in the preseason, and even if Darnold plays well, I bet you that if another team needs a quarterback, there's a good chance they'll trade him.
That would not surprise me.
Because Trey Lance is there too. They're still. I don't think they've given up on him. They haven't given up on Trey Lance. They have not given up on Trey Lance. He's an outstanding talent. He just hasn't had a chance, and he hasn't had enough experience to play. He's a lot like Richardson for the Colts, right? Somebody who's a lot of talent, hasn't played many games. So I don't think they've quit on Trey Lance.
I think that's going to be a pretty good topic if we do it down the line, because there's a lot to unpack with the Trey Lance and Sam Darnold and all that situation. But we'll get into it at some other time.
Andy Dalton may be out there.
Andy Dalton's the Panthers guy right now. We'll see.
I mean, I doubt they're going to try hard for
Bryce Young
to start. So, and then who is the Texans? Have they got
C.J. Stroud? They got Davis Mills, who they drafted a couple years ago.
They probably won't ditch him.
Absolutely, especially for C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.